Thanks, Max, and it's really a pleasure to be with you all. It's hard to believe that I can remember sitting in similar type of situations in similar rooms about 15 years ago, 15, I guess 15 and a half, and interning for John Shag from Arizona, grew up in Phoenix, and you know, not unlike many of you, I came into that role by sending, well, actually, unlike many of you, we had these things those days called fax machines that I used to send all my resumes and cover letters up here with not much response most of the time. But ultimately ended up coming up here and landing an opportunity to intern with Congressman Shag in his office here in the Cannon Building. And it was really through that I started to network and really get the lay of the land for how this town works. I had interned back in Arizona early in my college career. But it really wasn't until I was up here that I was able to get a sense of what things were like and what it was like to be here on Capitol Hill. And through that process, I used one of the many job banks that was out there and ultimately ended up landing at the House Judiciary Committee. I do like to say though that my first paying job on Capitol Hill was at Tortilla Coast. So if you were there as well. Launched my career, I suppose, between Tortilla Coast and Congressman John Shag. But you know, it's interesting. I can't speak for all lobbyists in this town. I certainly won't try to. I don't know if I knew much about lobbyists when I came up here. I think lobbyists have gotten more press in the last 10 to 12 years than they did prior in my earlier days. And if you would have asked me what I wanted to be when I grew up, I probably would have told you that I wanted to be a lobbyist. But that was partially because I really didn't know what a lobbyist did. And I think one of the things that's so great, and I just grabbed this when I came in because a new guy ago got presented the chair, but it said advance your liberty career. And I think one of the things that's often lost is that as a lobbyist, I think people think that you know all the connotations that come with that. But one of the things that's often lost, and I think that we take seriously in the lobbying community, is that we really are exercising the First Amendment rights on behalf of a lot of the citizens around this country to petition their government for their redress of grievances. And as a part of that, you know, it really has been an exciting opportunity for me. How I came into lobbying and stepping back to just is that I did work on Capitol Hill for 7.5 years for some great folks. And ultimately, the last member of Congress that I worked for, Matt Collins from Georgia, who sat on the House Ways and Means Committee, provided me with a lot of opportunities to explore a lot of issues. And in particular, one of those issues that I got an opportunity to really dig into was the health policy arena, given the significant jurisdiction that that committee has over health policy. It's certainly not alone in that regard. Obviously, on the House side here, you've also got Energy and Commerce Committee that exercises considerable jurisdiction there as well, as does Education and the Workforce and other committees in other areas, appropriations being another. But it was really through my experience with Congressman Collins where I got the opportunity to really delve into a particular policy area that I found that I really started to enjoy that. And then, as happens in this town, your bosses sometimes decide that they want to do other things. And I was in the midst of looking for a new opportunity. And one of the places that I had found great enjoyment and great challenge and was in that health policy area. And that led to me pursuing the career that I've now had for the last 7.5 years in health policy. And so I will say that one of the things that's different about being on this side of the hill, although there were great experiences about being on the hill, and I would say there's certainly things that when you leave the hill that you do miss. But one of the things that's been so great about being on this side of the hill is that you get to interact with a broad swath of folks in ways that most folks up here don't. I think Paul's probably the exception in that he gets to interact with a lot of folks. But I think one of the things that's really neat about being in the lobbying capacity is that you do get to interact with a lot of folks across the political spectrum. And I think you also get the opportunity to engage in some really intellectually challenging work when it comes to figuring out how do you advocate for particular ideas before different audiences. in order to achieve a result. And it's been a great experience for me, and I've certainly enjoyed my time. Obviously, I've never been doing it as long as I have, and I did. And I think that's a good overview of my career up there, and I'd be happy to answer any questions.